Thank you very much, Alan. I'm John Ostenburg, the Mayor of Park Forest, for those of you who don't know me. I was here a few months ago, I think, to talk about education. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about my campaign and my desire to be elected to an unprecedented four-year term in Park Forest. I've been involved in politics in our region for about 25 years now. I was a trustee in Park Forest for 5 years, then served in the Illinois General Assembly. Was one of those Democrats, since we're all good Democrats here, one of those Democrats who became victim of the Gingrich Revolution back in 1994. And I can tell you, it's a very unpleasant circumstance when you lose a seat because there's a national movement of hatred and bitterness. That's what it was in 1994, and unfortunately, that's kind of what we saw just in this past election. So we all have to get beyond that. We have to get back to where our concerns are for public policy and for the well-being of the people that were elected to serve, and not narrow little special interests. I'm seeking re-election this time, and really I know a lot of you are not Park Foresters, but I think it's important that you understand that some of the elections that we have in our individual communities really are more important to the region than we sometimes think. I'm a big advocate of regionalism. I think Sam knows that. Others who have served with me in different offices know that. Because I really believe that any one of our communities in the south suburbs cannot do it alone. We either work together and we either all rise at the same level, or we're going to all suffer. Now, in connection with that, I've really made an effort during my time as an elected official, especially during the 12 years now that I've been mayor of Park Forest, to work on issues in our community, but also that have an impact on the surrounding community. And I want to just very quickly bring you up to date on a couple of those. One that is probably the dearest to my heart is the Abraham Lincoln National Airport. I'm the vice chairman of the Abraham Lincoln National Airport Commission. We've been working on a third airport in the Chicagoland region now for probably 20 years. For the last 10 years, it's been focused on ALNAC, the Abraham Lincoln National Airport Commission. We really believe that we're very, very close to bringing this to fruition right at this particular point. Congressman Jackson, Mayor Al McCollum, who is the chairman of the commission, and I, along with staff from the Congressman's office, we've been meeting with the governor's staff regularly. The governor did announce in his inaugural address that the airport will be built. He has a comprehensive transportation plan, and the airport is a key component of it. And really what we need in the south suburbs more than anything else is an economic engine that's going to drive our growth and development. Without that, we're going to continue to spin our wheels like we have been doing. I mean, we just have to face the reality of it. We need an economic engine that will drive our commercial development. Not just in Park Forest, but in Madison, in Richmond Park, in Olympia Field, Flossmoor, all of our communities, and we need to work together in bringing that about. Congressman Jackson has been a great coalition builder among the various communities. He regularly meets with the mayors, and he talks to us about the importance of regionalism, and then each of the mayors is given the responsibility of trying to carry that out in his or her own community. And that's what we try to do in Park Forest. So my commitment to the third airport is not only on behalf of my own constituents, though I think Park Forest will benefit from that, but it's also on behalf of the constituents of all of the other communities that are in our south suburban region. The second thing that I'm pretty proud of right now is that we are very close to finalizing an economic development deal in Park Forest that's going to have, again, impact on our entire region. I think any of you who have been following sports news over the last few weeks know that Richard Dent was elected to the Hall of Fame, the National Football League Hall of Fame. Well, not only has he been elected to the Hall of Fame, where he'll be inducted soon, but last Thursday morning he was in Park Forest to announce his intention to locate his firm in Park Forest. We're about 2 weeks away from finalizing the deal. Let me just tell you something about what Richard Dent does. His firm focuses on helping residences and businesses save on energy costs. It's all to promote sustainability and better usage of energy. He has saved the Chicago Public Schools $86 million on energy. And he's been written up in Crane Chicago Business for this work. He's been on national television for it. And we're very, very optimistic that we're going to be able to get the ink on that line and finalize the deal within a couple of weeks. Those of you who are familiar with Park Forest, maybe you know where the old Holly Maddock building was, then it was Blue Ridge Farms. It's right on the corner of Orchard and North Street. It's a facility that's kind of gone into a state of disrepair because the various owners haven't taken care of it. So the very first thing that RLD Industries will do is revitalize that property. They have made a commitment when they do that they're going to use South Suburban companies to do that work. So it means jobs for all of us, not just for our residents, but for the residents of the region. So to me, that's a real plus. I've been working on that for a long time. When I first met Richard, we had our picture taken and we looked like Mutt and Jeff. He's a big guy. He's a remarkable individual that I think will also bring a flavor to our communities because of his own personality. He's got a very vibrant personality, very humble man for the great accomplishments that he's done. So those are two things. We're also working on a number of other projects that are kind of oriented toward our region. Transportation is a key. You know, one of the things that happens in a downturn economy is that it levels the playing field. You know, before the economy kind of went south on us, we were suffering a lot, and there were other peoples that were going full speed ahead. Well, you know, the train has stopped everywhere for the most part. So the playing field has somewhat been leveled. So what the mayors in the South Suburbs have been working very closely on and working together on is the idea of how do we better position ourselves so that when the economy comes around again, we can all take off running and really benefit from that change, because it's going to happen. I mean, we know, we have a banker here, and we know that the banks have a little more money right now. They're waiting to invest that in the businesses that have the most opportunity to produce. Businesses are being very cautious, but we will begin to see some of that investment coming back to our communities relatively soon, I think, because overall, things will get better. The pendulum always swings back and forth. So we want to be positioned in the South Suburbs when that pendulum swings back to where companies are investing. We want to be able to take advantage of that. Transportation is a key. There's no question that good transportation is a key. Some of you are familiar with Canadian National's transmobile facility that they're putting in the Harvey Homewood area. That's going to add to a lot of opportunity for distribution, warehousing, things of that sort. We have two high-speed rail proposals that the governor has with federal funding that will come through the South Suburbs, one on its way to St. Louis that's pretty much finalized in terms of planning. The other one is just in the conceptual stage, but it's a high-speed rail connecting Chicago with the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana and then going south so that U of I brain trust can be used more for our development in the Chicagoland area. We have the Ileana Expressway, which is now in the planning stage, which will carry transportation, ground transportation, south of I-80. If you've ever been on the Borman, you know what it's like. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can hardly move. Another South Suburban Expressway that connects I-55, I-57, and I-65 in Indiana. That's going to be a big plus for all of us. We put the third airport right in the middle of that. We have all of the things coming together so that we can have an effective transportation system, which is exactly what businesses look for when they want. And businesses want next day delivery. How do you do that? You know, I was told some time ago that if a business is located in the South Suburbs, it takes as long for that business to get materials that ship into O'Hare as it would take if we have an airport in the South Suburbs to ship to Peoria, Indianapolis, Des Moines, any one of those distribution points, because the traffic is so heavy from O'Hare south. Now, if we can get around that, we can sell businesses on the notion, you locate in the South Suburbs, you can have your manufacturing, you know, moving at a much more rapid pace. That's going to be a real plus. Very last thing I want to touch on, because this is also one of my dreams. And we have a lot of people in the audience who are running for school board. And I've been an educator all my life. You know, I've taught every grade from 5th grade through graduate student, and for the last 15 years until I retired in July, I worked for the Chicago Teachers Union, the largest organization of teachers in the state. I really believe that education is key.